Have you heard about seasonal homeschool? It's not talked about a lot, but I think that it should be because it has been an amazing method in our homeschool. I think this goes without saying, it's not going to work for everyone. I just want to share what it is and how we have implemented it in kindergarten and first grade. So what is seasonal homeschool? I first heard about it from the YouTube channel There's No Place Like Home. She has fantastic homeschool content. She has a ton of really good information. I get a lot of good advice from her channel because her advice really resonates well with me and works well for my children. So I'll link her below if you want to check out her channel. Again, a lot of really good information on homeschooling. But basically what seasonal homeschool is it's changing your homeschool method each season. And it can look very different for every family, but I'm going to show you how it looks for us. We do year-round homeschooling for our first grader. And throughout the entire year, we are very Charlotte Mason inspired. We do short lessons, narrations, read alouds, that kind of thing, but we change up the method each season. So let's start with summer. We started our homeschool late spring, early summer, and our summer style was unschooling meets Charlotte Mason. We didn't have formal lessons. It was mostly child-led, but we read a lot and we did a lot of nature studies. We took this time to really just get outside and to learn about the nature around us. We were visiting family for an extended visit out east, so it was a different climate and the kids got to see that. They got to see things that they don't see here in the Southwest, like deer growing up. There was a mama deer with her twin babies. They got to see them get older. We got to study different kinds of trees that they don't typically see out west. And we just really focused on nature study. We did a lot of read alouds, like I said. We did a lot of field trips. And it was just, like I said, it was very child-led, but it wasn't quite unschooling because it had that little bit of a Charlotte Mason twist. And during this time, I didn't really stress about attendance. School happened when it happened. If we did any learning, I marked it down as a school day, but we weren't like sitting down every day like, okay, come on guys, time to go out and do nature study. If learning happened, I would count it. And if it didn't happen, not a big deal. It was summer. So now let's move on to what our fall homeschool has looked like. In the fall, I like to do more of a traditional school at home approach, but not necessarily what the public school system now looks like. I try to have more of a one-room schoolhouse type of approach. During this time, I like to cover, reading, writing, arithmetic. I find this is a really good time to do those more formal lessons because you're kind of in the back to school spirit. You see all the back to school stuff in the stores, and it's kind of that season in the air. So we're more motivated to do the more formal lessons in the fall. I like to cover a lot of the basics during this time, and then we can build on it and reinforce it throughout the year using other methods. So we started this style early August, and we will go through till about Thanksgiving. Now let's talk about winter. After Thanksgiving, I consider it winter in our homeschool because this is when the holidays are rolling around. Things are kind of chaotic. It's a little chilly here, so the kids aren't spending quite as much time outside, but we still have very nice weather where we are, so they are outside more. He's kind of getting bored with the 3 R's at this point, so we just need to change it up a little bit. So in the winter, we focus on unit studies. We can tailor the length of each unit studies to work around our busy schedule over the winter. We can learn about things that either my child wants to learn about, or we can focus on areas that he's maybe struggling in. But we plan a few unit studies and we just do them whenever we need to and want to during the winter. I went into the school year with the spring being very open-ended so that I could make it what we needed it to be. But this spring, I think we're going to focus more on a classical education approach. My son is really good at memory work because he's just in that stage of development. So we're just going to really focus on doing a lot of memory work, and then we can kind of reinforce that over the summer and into next year. So it looks a little different for us than it did last year for kindergarten, but that's what I absolutely love about the seasonal homeschool approach is that you can change it year to year and you don't have to stick with like the actual seasons. You can make it work for whatever seasons you're going through. Like last year it looked different for us because I was pregnant with twins. So what my homeschool had to look like when I was pregnant is different than what it looked like when I had newborn twins. So last year we started our year in the summer with a more traditional approach. We were in the Southwest. I was pregnant with twins. It was triple digits. We were not going outside. I was in a lot of pain. I couldn't physically move a lot. So it made sense that this was the time of year that we could sit down and do our more formal lesson plans. In the fall, I tried to do a more standard Charlotte Mason approach. In the winter, same as this year, we did unit studies. I found that it's just a really good time of year to do unit studies around the holidays. And in the spring, I was just kind of at my mental capacity, so we really just like leaned into unschooling. And it's been really nice to be able to just change up our styles for our needs in any season, whether that be, you know, the physical seasons around you outside or just the seasons of life we were in. It's been very beneficial. So beyond that, like, why do seasonal homeschooling? Well, one, as I kind of mentioned already, it's really nice to be able to change your approach year to year. One of the greatest things about homeschooling in general is that you can make it work for your kids, and to be able to switch it up season to season, year to year is just very freeing, and it doesn't put you in one box, but you're able to pull from all these other fantastic methods of homeschooling. You can adjust the schedule for your family needs, for travel plans, for work schedules changing, for moving, for really whatever. You have so much more flexibility in changing what you need both in the long run and the short run that I find seasonal homeschooling to be very beneficial for that reason. I also like that it keeps school interesting. You don't really get into that mundane routine, and as soon as you kind of hit that point, it's time to switch it up. It keeps things really fun and exciting and fresh for both the homeschooling parent and for the student. And I found that it really helps avoid burnout both with me and my son. Because like I said, you know, every time you start to feel that drag in homeschooling, it changes. You know, I'm friends with a lot of other homeschooling moms, and they'll post to Facebook about how hard it can be like come October. And I definitely feel that in my own way, but at the same time, I'm like, well, it's hard, but we're also almost done because we're about to enter a whole new season, a whole different method of homeschooling. So while they're feeling like, oh, I'm barely halfway through, I'm like, we're almost done. Not that we're almost done with the year, but we're almost done with this approach, and you get that sense of newness, that excitement moving forward, and it really just kind of keeps me going. I can't stress enough how much I love that I can just pull from all these amazing styles of homeschooling. And obviously you can do that all at once with an eclectic method, and this in its own sense is an eclectic method, but it's just a little bit different when you separate it by certain blocks of time, because you're not trying to pull all these good ideas all together into one homeschooling plan for the whole year and then get burned out by it. I can say, no, I really like these benefits of a classical homeschool or a traditional homeschool or a unit study or Charlotte Mason, or unschooling. I like all these benefits, but I can pull it in and really control how much of each is happening at once, and it just makes it a little bit more manageable. I just like that I'm not trying to cram it all in all at once throughout the entire school year. I find that it especially works well with our year-round homeschool schedule. We do the Sabbath approach, so we do 6 weeks on, take a break, 6 weeks on, take a break. That just works best for us in our lifestyle, and the seasonal homeschool method works really well for year-round homeschooling, and it would obviously still work if you took summers off. But for us, doing some schooling in the summer, it works really well to just be able to split things up and to make it work with you for each season, and just always giving your child something to look forward to. Before I make my last point, I do just want to introduce myself. My name is Dee. I create content every Monday about home management, home life, and homeschool. So if this video makes you feel like home, make sure you hit subscribe. But the last reason I love seasonal homeschool is because I can spread out the subjects that we teach throughout all the seasons. We can focus on science and literature in the summer. We can focus on grammar, math, and some history in the fall. We can focus on enrichments in the winter, and we can leave spring open for whatever we may need. So if you think that you can benefit from seasonal homeschool, please leave me a comment below. I'd love your opinions on it one way or another, whether you want to do it or you don't, or you homeschool or you don't, you're just coming across this video. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Thank you for listening. I'm just some lady on YouTube.